building a gifting startup for people who hate gifting. Busy professionals who want their gifts to feel thoughtful without spending hours scrolling. But her homepage, generic headline, stock photos, and a discount banner that screamed, "We don't believe in this either." We unpacked why her strongest story was buried halfway down the page, how to ditch discount energy when you're selling premium, and why one tweak to her hero section could change the game. Let's dive in.
Hi, I am Emily Farah. I am starting a new business called RVA Gift Finder or Gift Finder. The whole goal of the business is help people find meaningful gifts for those who are challenging to shop for, or maybe you are challenged by the whole gifting process in general, providing a service that will make that easier and much less stressful.
Awesome. First of all, congrats on launching a new business. For people who are maybe new to this, can you explain kind of how you kind of got into gift giving and what kind of led you to start this business?
Yeah. So I have two parents that are the worst to shop for at Christmas. So a couple years ago, had a new baby. I was exhausted. I was working full time. And I was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "We don't need anything." And they're like, "Okay." But then when I was like, "Okay, well, let's do nothing. Let's just go on a trip." My mom's like, "Well, I really want something open under the tree." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." And I will spend hours and hours looking for a meaningful gift. Like I won't stop until I find something that's useful. And that was the inspiration to start this. Because as I talked to more people and we're like, "This is driving me nuts." Like, "Me too, girl. Me too." So that is led me to create RVA Gift Finder. And right now it's consulting services for me, and I'm looking for ways to bring in more technology to make it more automated as well. So when those gifters are shopping at 2 a.m., because that's when they have time in their beds, they can get the ideas when they need them and continue their research.
Yeah, totally. And who are you kind of finding to be your ideal customers?
Right now, we're in the middle of starting customer discovery and interviews. So if anyone is listening to this and hears like, "Oh my gosh, I would love to talk to you," I would love to learn more about gifting, because we are assuming that the target customer is a busy professional. They're making enough money to do some splurge purchases. Their time is limited, and there's parts of the gifting process that are causing them stress and anxiety. So we really want to hone in on how we can those pain points and how we can make it a smoother process for them.
Yeah, what is the parts that are kind of create the most friction or the most pain?
Yeah, a lot of times for the people I've talked to so far, it's either the process of going out and searching and trying to find the right gift, doing the research and the time it takes, or on the flip side, it's as minimal as how the gift that they get, they want to be more meaningful, and they're trying to find ways to get the person shopping for them to do a better job without better words. And so it's almost on the flip. I did have a couple people go, "Well, I just need to be reminded in the first place, and then I need the gift. Like I just don't want to do it at all." But really, it's around meaningful gifts and how we can help make the whole process more joyful all the way through, when you're doing the exchange and you can see the joy on the other person's face.
Yeah. And when you say meaningful gift, what does that kind of mean for kind of one of your ideal customers?
Yeah, a meaningful gift it's something that the recipient wants and appreciates. It's a token of showing that you understand them and you know them and you can hear them. So it's about finding a gift that's the other person will really go, "Oh, wow. Like that's what I want," or "This is so me, thank you," and creating that joy, because that end experience, that's what makes it memorable, right? And I was calling it personalized gift for a while on the website, but then it's like gift personalization is like in the market is like slapping a name on something and or a family photo, and yeah, that can be a meaningful gift, but that's not the definition of this business and what we're going after. It's finding a painting that someone is obsessed with and that speaks to who they are, and offering that as a meaningful gift.
And when you're kind of doing this as a service, what are some of the ways that you kind of help somebody extract that information so you can kind of help them find that gift? Because I can imagine there's probably a little bit of that friction point of, I know I need to find a really meaningful gift for somebody in my life, but can I really delegate this to a third party? And how do I do this without creating more work for myself? So what does your process look like?
Yeah. So if you think about it, you're going through, you start in all the Google search and you dig into websites and you get inspired. So you start another Google search and then you go to Facebook Marketplace or you go to Reddit feed and you're going into all these places. You're spending all this time and energy. Where I start my customers is a survey, right? You can do it on your own time and your own place. And they're leading questions around who this person is and what you think or know about them. What do you feel like they would be interested in? What is their style? What are they compelled to? And it goes into, what type of gifts are you typically giving or what do you think they'd be interested in? And I even like to hone in on some of the staples of not the exact gift, but the theme. Do they like local or handmade? Like, is that something more appropriate for them? Do they prefer experiences? That kind of thing too. So that really the ideas they can come from really trying to understand the person, ask some more questions if needed, but it's 5 minutes versus the starting at like 30 and going on and on and on before you get there. And then right now it's really the base offer is here's where the ideas, here's where to go find something for that idea. And they can stop there and go shop themselves and be done with my service. But then also we'll do all the shopping and delivery for them. So there's two parts to it. But what I want to do is first and foremost is help them get to that endpoint of purchase faster. If they want to wrap it, they want to deliver it. Like that's not where I need to step in. I'm trying to provide the value in the shopping experience.
Makes sense. So let's kind of dive in directly into your homepage.
Yeah, sure. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, I know this is a new business. Tell me a little bit about kind of what was kind of your headspace when you were building out the first version of that?
I wanted it to be simple. I wanted to be to the point, and I wanted to be careful about going too deep, like into it and overthinking it really quickly. I actually started this on Wix, and then I moved to Shopify for the checkout experience because I was having trouble getting it to not do certain things. And the Wix one was so easy to edit that like I immediately overdid it. And so when I moved to Shopify, I wanted to try to start simple and then add to as I gained more information from my customers. And I got exactly kind of more of a sense of what did I need to say. So that was where my head was at going into it and trying to use minimal words, which I know is not great for my SEO heart pings every time I say that, like, oh, you're not really giving a whole lot of substance. But conversion's the goal. So
yeah, that's interesting. Why are you focused on saying the fewest number of words?
I am imagining that these people are busy and they're scrolling. And so using the least amount gives them the most to focus on first. So, one headline, a little bit of leading how it works, and then going from there. I've played back and forth with, the steps of the process that we go through and things like that. I just didn't sit with my gut right. So, Coco Chanel, take the last accessory off you put on is the approach I've taken so far. And if you have ideas, please.
Yeah, I definitely think that can work, and every single word on that page should be doing something for you. But I do wonder is find the perfect gift, the right H1. I like how it works because that is pretty clear. And I'm assuming when you click on that, it's going to take you to a process page. But when you factor in find the perfect gift as kind of a pretty generic H1 to be nice but blunt with a stock photo, there feels like a disconnect between what you just described of how, personalized, how meaningful that gift giving process is and how detailed your process is. And then you go to the website and then almost feels like a disconnect where this just feels like another gift giving service and not necessarily the same thing.
Okay, it's interesting.
I mean, what were you trying to get across when you were with the image and the H1? Like, what are you trying to give into the fact that, that it is like, we want to help you find the most meaningful gift and like, with the least amount of friction, or, what is kind of the feeling that you want an ideal customer to have?
Yeah, gifts delivered without friction. Yeah, and so the image really around, the gift delivery aspect. So getting to the end goal. I feel you on the header, where I think it's so easy to struggle on H1s is the length of text and keeping it short and concise, so that it doesn't go on 2 or 3 lines. It is quite easy to pick up and go with. And I fall in the camp of I like to say too much versus too little. So sometimes getting to brevity is a little bit harder.
I mean, I think you actually literally just said your H1 right there, which was What if your H1 was meaningful gift giving without the friction?
Oh,
Will you maybe need to change the font or change the layout a little bit to make that happen?
Yeah.
Yes, but I suspect that that's going to automatically be more interesting than what you have right now. And then maybe you change out that gift image and you just put an image of you, if you're okay being the face of the brand, with like a gift in your hand or something like that,
Yeah.
to just kind of just further signals the fact, hey, this is like a meaningful, I'm going to assume meaningful, more premium experience for somebody. And
Yeah.
also like, kind of ties into the fact that like there is no friction to this. You see exactly how it works and you book a call.
That's fair. The scary thing is putting me on the front. So
Why is that scary?
girl, I'm behind the scenes kind of girl. So, because, starting a business, I'm working on it. It's putting myself out there for sure.
For sure. Even if you don't necessarily want, and there's millions of reasons not to put yourself as the face of the brand, but even without that, you could even put in, even if it's, I know you're a new business, but like put in a customer or even do something in Canva where it is, where it doesn't necessarily look like a stock photo, but it might still be a stock photo, but it just emphasizes that like premium feel meets, zero friction, could just go a lot farther than just a stack of gifts.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And if you go up a little bit further, I want to kind of ask another question, which is I see you have kind of the carousel header that I think is pretty typical on Shopify, where it's we recently launched, try a service today. And then our welcome gift to you, 10% off your order.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel the need to give a discount when you just launched?
So just going off of typical, B2C, here it is, give it a try. If you look at the pricing, it's a consultancy. It's not a lower cost item. Like it's 30, it's 25 for the ideas and it goes 35 and up for the thing. So if price is your barrier, because there's not many businesses that are doing just this thing, right? And so giving an incentive to give it a try is where my head was at. Like, hey, let's not make price the barrier for getting my first few customers. Let's just make sure that we can provide a good experience. And it's a learning lesson for me too. So I'm actually gaining in my first customers, I'm gaining the experience of what they need and how that process goes. That they're going to help me shape my business.
That makes a ton of sense. And that's like really smart when it comes to customer development and customer discovery. But I almost wonder if your conversion rate is going to go up because if you just lean fully into that premium feel, because when you see, hey, we just launched in a discount.
Yeah.
I see this across every site. That does this. I immediately think, oh, what is this company hiding? Why are they not confident enough in their products? It doesn't mean you can't give a discount after the fact, right? If you're on a customer discovery call or you're on a sales call, then, give a discount if that's going to be the thing that's going to move the needle. But I'm not sure if I would lean into a discount because oftentimes what I see on sites like this is it becomes like the discount becomes a crutch instead of the actual premium service.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm like, in that case, it's like if you were having to dial down from what you know today, and I'm sure that's going to change in 3 months. It's probably going to change again in a year because businesses evolve. They're never static. What do you think is kind of the core value prop that your ideal customer has? Is it remove friction? Is it the fact that they're outsourcing it to you so they free up their time? What is that core pain point?
So at the end of the day, the core pain point is the frustration in the gift buying process. So you're trying to find something meaningful, but it's not coming easy enough to you. And that's my value proposition is I can make that process a lot easier. Even if the ideas I give you and you go to buy it, you see something that's like similar. I had a friend who the ideas were like, that came back, one of mine was around, her husband loves anime and we're like, okay, here's the thing. She's like, well, my house is small. I don't have room for like a sculpture. I can't remember what the gift was. And it led her to a portrait that is the same concept. The idea is just something that goes on the wall versus something that stands on the counter. That kind of end result is to me is still a success. It's getting you to that joyful moment faster. And
what you just said, that story should be on your homepage 1000%. What you have there that automatically kind of conveys that. And 2, going back to that kind of hello bar discount thing, instead of saying our welcome gift for you 10% off your order, just be like our welcome gift to you, schedule a free discovery call to remove friction. Something like that, or to get rid of, frustrated by having to buy a gift for somebody, schedule a free discovery call, something like that. And you can make it only 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever it has to be. But I can almost guarantee that's going to convert better than using a discount as a crutch.
Yeah, I've been so stuck in the transactional piece, especially because of the user experience of the transactions in general. I hadn't thought about that way, and that's really smart. Like, duh, moment.
Totally. Sometimes we're so close to the product that we can forget that we can't, necessarily zoom out and see the forest from the trees. And the other thing you just shared there is that story of your friend with the anime purchase. That should 1000%, if that's not maybe not in the hero section, but it should be your social proof, lean into that.
Yeah.
Because that's how that is selling that value prop extremely well. So if we want to go down a little bit more, so pick a gift giving service. I like the fact that you have the rule of threes here. So you have 3 different offers, and you're definitely one thing that you might want to differentiate is you want to make sure that like 5 curated gift ideas and then the gift packages. I'm not really sure how they're different considering they're the same price. Then you have personal shopping. I like that you have personal shopping as your anchor for a little bit more money, but maybe change the pricing of this. Maybe make your curated gift offers $25, your gift packages $30, and your personal shopping $35. So it just reads a little bit better. And then I'm just going to assume that maybe you want your gift idea packages to be the thing that you're selling, because naturally when you think rule of threes as a marketer, you're always probably drawing people to that middle option because that's the popular one. That's the one that you want people to pay.
Yeah. And it's the quantity, right? You have more than one occasion. With this one, reminders, when bins are coming up, but I haven't had this one sell, and I've been struggling with, because I like what you said, because it helps me think of it differently, because when you're just plugging things in Shopify, it doesn't give you quite the like starting at or the language that you need. And I'm not the place to like bring in a developer quite yet, right? I'm still more bare bones than that.
I would also say in general, maybe like release the stock photos, because the stock photos are basically an immediate contrast. And I've said this now across, probably 5 or 6 of these videos. When you see stock photos, it automatically assumes commodity. And if you're trying to go for a premium feel, those stock photos, unless they're like heavily doctored up, are giving you an immediate contrast in a negative way to that premium feel that you want. The other way you can potentially go about this is if you really only want to sell one offer at the start, just have one offer instead of 3. And then another question I had for you, which is then take a short quiz. Why are you asking people to buy, but then you're also giving them an out with a free quiz instead?
Does it say free quiz?
Yeah. So it says then pick a gift giving service and then take a short quiz and start getting ideas to a great gift that you'll love.
Oh, yeah. So the quiz is the survey that we ask about the person. So that's the second step of the process. In general, it's not free. It doesn't come until after the fact. So it's interesting that you interpret it that way. And that's a really good perspective to have, is if you interpret it that way, then others could too, for sure.
Yeah, then in that case, I would maybe just put then the second step of the process, either have it on that same line or maybe put it, once they buy the product, be like, hey, the next step of the process is you fill out an intake form. That's super standard. That could be another way. I like the fact that you have 3 ideas, but just maybe factor up the images a little bit more, change the pricing, and make sure that, the one that you actually want people to buy is the one in the middle. Scroll down.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in all of my B2B, like our SaaS background, right? So you're taking longer to make decisions in the first place, but it's always been like the left click is like, on my analytics, everyone just clicks on the left and then scrolls to the next section. So it's interesting, your perceptive, like your consultation, on it, that's like they focus on the middle. Yeah. So that's a good insight to have.
You're definitely right, where it's most people are going to see from left to right. However, typically speaking, the one that tends to convert the best and also the one that you want people's eyes drawn to is that middle one if you have 3.
Okay.
And then I like kind of your final CTA around ready to get started, get 5 curated ideas, how it works. That also can work. Maybe change how it works to schedule a discovery call, something like that. If you want to get back to more calls, like you mentioned. And then again, that same feedback around the stock photos. Is there a way that you can just make them feel a little bit more premium? Or if you're comfortable with it, leaning with yourself.
Yeah. How would you think about making them premium? Like when you think of premium, what is your visualization of that?
That is a great question. So my general assumption with that, for something like this, where it's very much centered around your expertise, I would probably lean into, if you're comfortable being the face of the brand, it doesn't mean you have to be everywhere on there, but have like one photo of yourself somewhere on the homepage, or at the very least somewhere on the about page, just because that, just instantly says, hey, this is not a commodity service, this is premium. I'm the expert. Even without that, I would say the next best thing is, have photos of customers or photos of beta customers. Have something like that. Or if you're going to have to use stock photos, doctor them up in Canva. add some text to it, add like a drop shadow, do something to it so it feels like it's on brand. Add your color scheme, that sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So anything else before we wrap?
No, this has been really helpful. It's like it said, going at this alone, it's easy to get in your head. So having this session, hearing your ideas, and just bouncing off this with somebody else feels great. So I appreciate you reaching out to me and taking time for the session.
Thank you so much.